Alright folks, this is the HSDJETS J-10, okay? It's in the, well, I think it's the August or October 1st livery, or August 1st livery, I forget. There's no manual, doesn't come with a manual, you have to download it, but as with all my CG or radio rates and CG, I start off with a CG. As you can see, it's on the very hard to find Hobby King CG stand, and she's perfectly balanced. It is 100, it's specific. It has no variance in the CG. It is from the leading edge root, in other words, where the wing touches the fuse, which is right about there, 120 millimeters back. Okay, and you're going to put your 5,000 in there. It calls for it just says a 5,000 in the 5,000 5,200. So 5,000, and in the manual it says kind of tuck it in just underneath the back and that back here, and that's pretty much a good CG. 120 from the leading edge root. Okay, the leading edge root, so you can see it a little bit better, is right there, right where it connects. So if you turn the model upside down, okay, I'm going to do it from the top. That is pretty good right there. To give you a landmark underneath, if you find, I made little black marks, if you find that screw there, and then drag your finger out right in front, that's your CG mark, just front of these where the landing gear connect. Okay, and then on top, there's a panel line right here. Find this antenna, find this panel line. It's kind of halfway between the battery hatch and that antenna. That panel line goes straight down, and at the front of that panel line, that is your landmark. Okay, now that say, well, that's great and dandy, but where do you put the battery at to get that? All right, if you'll put your 5,000 just where it just kind of starts to touch there, you see there's a wood tray down there. There's a wood tray. If you'll put the bottom of your 5,000, even with that wood tray back, you'll hit that perfect CG. Now, for that CG, 120 millimeters back from the leading edge, you do not set this up with elevon mixing. I was wrong, I told you at the build. Set this up as a regular wing because there's a little mixing board underneath the wood tray that does all the canard and aileron and elevon mixing for you. You don't have to do anything, okay? Which is great. Now there's where I've got my AR631, the antenna going which way? Down there in that nose, okay? Be careful with this servo. If you had to change it out, it's right there, but just be careful. Don't hit those. I've hit them so many times now. All right, so you don't have, so what will happen if you plug it in, you just follow the instructions on the, each of those little are labeled, okay? You're gonna plug in the white single wire, it says elevator, put it in your normal elevator channel. There's a one that's labeled rudder, put it in your normal elevator channel. There's one that says duck wing, put that in your flap channel. Okay, you're going to need 6 channels. The one that says duck wing, put it in your flap. And the one that says air brake, assign that to a 2-position switch or your eye switch or a roller. But here's what happens. Okay, you hit that brake. Now, when you hit that brake, you better be on the ground because there is no aileron elevator control. Okay, there's none. So be rolling on the ground because all you've got at this point is rudder and you got throttle. Okay? But so when the air brake is deployed, you better be rolling and on the ground. Okay? Now, to show you the rates now, so that covered CG, that covered the radio setup. Well, that part of the radio setup. And let's talk about rates. Rates by the book or whatever you, for the rudder is whatever you want. It only gave me aileron and elevator setting 10 millimeters up or down. Okay, however, and it automatically translates. It already translates. So if you have a low rate for your aileron, it automatically translates that to your canards. So elevator, it automatically translates to the canards. Okay, so you don't have to worry about putting rates in separately for those. Only the canards are only for elevator function. They do not work for aileron function. Okay, and that's fine and dandy. That's how it's actually supposed to be anyways. Okay, they are not on there. There's one servo that drives both the canards. I thought there was two. Turns out that other servo was the rudder. Now, rudder is very sensitive on that nose wheel, so I've got it at 100% through. At only actually, what have I got it at? You know what? On the rudder, I have it at 100%, but I got 60% expo in there because it's very sensitive. Okay. Now, to show you the rates, I'm using this little meter here. I put that on there, and they say only 10% or 10 millimeters up or down. Well, that's going to be my low rate. Okay, look at those. Okay, this is the elevator. Okay, that's low rate. Okay. And what that translates to, that's their normal. They only call for one rate in the book, 10% one way or the other. The ailerons, elevons actually have a natural setup a little bit naturally. Anyways, this is the way they're trimmed. Leave that alone. Okay, so that's low rate. And on the spectrum, what that translates to, this is for the elevator. I put in 40% expo, but 50% for low rate. And see, that's what that looks like. Okay, now for mid rate, I put at 60 elevator. That's what that looks like. And for high, for elevator, I put 70. And that's what that looks like. Okay, now for ailerons, however, my high on ailerons is 70. Okay, 40% expo. My mid is 60. And my low is 50. So they're exactly the same. But rudder I left at 100% was 60% expo on it. Okay, so aileron, elevator, spectrum, low rate, 50, 60, 70. Okay, elevator, spectrum, 50, 60, 70. 100%. You put a lot of expo on that rudder, or that nose wheel, because it's very, very touchy. Timer will be set for 3.5 minutes the first flight, but I get the feeling that this is going to be a very efficient plane. So I'll probably adjust that for 3.5 minutes. I'll probably adjust it to probably a 4.5 minutes, because I'm thinking this thing is going to be very, on a 5,000, it's going to have a lot of life to that flight. Okay, we covered rates. We covered CG. We covered how you put the radio in. I got the antenna up front here. Make sure it's very important that air brake that says braking, put that into your gear channel. And remember, when you hit the brakes, you have no elevator or aileron control, only rudder and throttle. Okay, it overrides that. Put your duck wing into your flap channel, and that mixes the canards with the elevators. Okay, do not set it up. Let me say it again. Do not set it up as a elevon mixing. You set it up as a normal wing. The mixing board that's in the plane does all that for you. It's actually very simple. Okay, just plug it in the way it's labeled. But I'll say it one more time. Put your duck wing in your flap. Put the brake in your your gear or A switch, and then assign it whatever switch you want. I like using C because that's where I put all my brakes. And just remember, when you deploy the air brakes, be on the ground rolling, because you have no elevator or aileron control. You only have throttle and rudder. Well, that's what you should be using on the ground anyways. Alrighty, that's kind of a quick radio setup. but it's a very basic plane. Remember what I said about plugging those things in specifically, and remember what I said about using that brake function. Make sure you are on the ground rolling, otherwise you're going to have a very bad day. Alrighty, well, I can't think of anything else. The model is painted. The decals are applied. There is no bare foam. Everything is painted. In the build, you notice I did have a hard time with... forward programming does work normal. Okay, that's what I got. So the AS3X does work. I just got a default setup, so I'm not playing with the gain channels and priorities and all that. Okay, I got them on a switch. So with my gains all the way up on the roller, okay, that's what that looks like. All the way down, nothing. If I put them all the way up in high rates, a little bit of correction there. So I'll play with that as I fly with it. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, in the setup, I remember I said that the wings, that you connected the wings by the spar. You didn't have to glue them in. You put the bolt in. I couldn't get one to line up. Well, I kind of pressed into it, and I put the larger, because you get tons of extra bolts. I put in the larger button heads, and it went in just fine. Those wings are not coming off. And remember, I had messed up the flip. Make sure when you pull it out of the box, be careful pulling it straight up the fuse, because these will come off. I just put a bead of hot glue on there, and now they're nice and strong. Nice and strong. You have pinch hinges that are laminate. Have some laminate in there. So later on, as that laminate gets old over time, you want to go there and put that hold the foam treatment. You have no rudder. Okay. Traditional rudder, you only have nose control. But this is considered to be a beginning level plane. I don't know how it's going to be considered a beginning level plane, because it's a light little plane with an 80mm fan, and it's got a better than one-to-one power ratio. So we shall see. We shall see. All right. Well, that's the radio rates and CG setup for the HSDJETS J-10. And I cannot remember if it's October 1st or August 1st livery. There's a stipulation there. But I'm sorry I've got it wrong. I'm not trying to insult anybody with my ignorance. But there you go. All right, well, folks, thank you for watching. God bless y'all. God is good. And like I say, this is the HSDJETS J-10. This is the one I bought. And they sent me this one. For free, because this is their 2 entry-level 80mm that these are their beginning jets. They finally came out with their own, and these planes are actually fairly light, so I'm thinking they're going to be hot rods. You don't have, there's no brakes, no brake function, no reverse function, so make a nice long approach, just so you know. All right. Thank you for watching, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless you. God is good. And thank you so much. Faith, family, and friends. And the Jets. Bye-bye.